We are hearing Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday we heard that Satya, Raja and Tamas are the three qualities of my Apara Prakriti or Maya, with which the whole world has been deluded. Thus illusioned, people do not know me, their Supreme Lord, unchangeable and independent of those attributes. He is Nirguna, above these three gunas. So one who is under the clutches of Triguna cannot know Supreme Lord. Devi Hyesha Gunomayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Eva Je Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. Extremely difficult to surmount is my supernatural Maya, consisting of the above three qualities. But those who surrender themselves absolutely to me and me alone can easily cross over this ocean of Maya. Here, explanation. It is to be observed carefully that the term me in this shloka signifies the beautiful Shyama Sundar form of Shri Krishna, and the force of the term this Devanagari sign maybe so maybe Devihi Esha Gunomai Mam Madurate Mam Eva Je Prapadyante Mayam Etantarantite. Eva, maybe Eva means resignation not to Brahman, Paramatman, Shiva, yes, it is this Eva, only to me, means resignation or surrender not to Brahman, Paramatman, Shiva or any other god, but to Shri Krishna alone, because none but He can deliver the fallen souls from the clutches of the octopus Maya. Me alone means not any demigods or anyone or that Brahman, Paramatma or anyone. Only Krishna is the controller of Maya. This is his Maya. So one who will surrender unto him, he can be released from the clutches of the octopus Maya. It is very difficult to be released from octopus because she has many those things. I don't know what is the English word, hands like, and then they will surround you and you cannot escape. Because of being averse to Krishna, because of this offense, we are enveloped by Maya. So unless we remove, rectify this offense, we cannot come out. Namam dushkriti no muda prapadyante naradamaha Mayaya pahrita jnana asuram bhavam ashritaha. Those worldly minded men, 1. Who are either hedonistic or altruistic by nature. 2. Who are the vilest, leading dissolute lives and are therefore the worst among mankind. 3. who worship impersonal, abstract Brahman, deluded by Maya, and 4. Are therefore prone to disparage me and my devotees owing to their demoniac temperament, are called evil-minded, ill-fated persons who are not at all inclined to surrender themselves to me. 4 kinds of persons will not surrender to Supreme Lord because of lack of Sukriti. So here explanation is given. 4 classes of men do not worship me. They do not surrender themselves to me owing to their non-devotional attitude. They are 1. Men who are the vilest, leading dissolute lives. Dissolute. 1 second, I will. Then 2, who are the atheists at heart, though ethical in word and deed. 3, who are Naradamas, worst among mankind, because the later 2 do not recognize me as the Lord of Ethics, but as an accessory deity whose only business is to dispense justice, reward or punishment to those who deserve it. And 4, who, though well versed in the Vedanta philosophy, worship impersonal abstract Brahman, deluded by my Maya, and are therefore prone to disparage me and my devotees owing to their demoniac temperament, and are thus deprived of the transcendental knowledge regarding the following truths. Here, dissolute means of a person or a way of life overindulging in sensual pleasures, debauched or promiscuous, licentious, all these are loose, wild, unrestrained, fast living, sinful, immoral, impure, drunken. These are all synonyms. So, first are those who are leading such lives. And 2 are the atheists at heart, like Buddhists, though ethical in word and deed. They are following some morality, speaking truthfully, not drinking alcohol, and not committing violence to other living entities. But they are atheists, so they will also not surrender to Krishna. Then 3 who are Naradamas, though because they think that Supreme Lord is only one who is controlled by karma. He's only they cannot understand that he's the Lord of ethics, controlling the ethics. They think he is controlled by ethics, like an accessory deity whose only business is to dispense justice. So he has no any power, but he's there like as an instrument to give good fruit or bad fruit, but he's not independent of karma. So whatever you do, you will get irregardless. So they have such conception of God, which is not correct. They are moral theists, but not with full knowledge of Bhagavan. And then the 4th one are those who study Vedanta philosophy, but they think that the ultimate reality is impersonal Brahman. So they are giving importance to worship that. And for that reason, they are not giving, they are actually disparaging Krishna and his devotees. They think this is some kind of low type of practice, as Sarvam Bhattacharya first taught. That is why he was making fun of Raya Ramananda. The Vaishnava, that is low class sadhana. So they who are enveloped by such mentality, they also cannot submit to Supreme Lord. So 4 types of people who don't have Sukriti, they are unable to surrender to Supreme Lord, even if there is dangerous situation. Gurudev told that not all will worship. Some in dangerous situation, they will call Bhagavan, but some will not, because of lack of Sukriti. Later I will tell one example, which Gurudev gave. So those who are deprived of the transcendental knowledge regarding the following truths: that I am the Supreme Lord, endowed with all powers, that the jivas in their essence are the eternal servants of me, the Supreme Lord, that the relationship that exists between the jivas and me is eternal, and that between fallen souls and the phenomenal world is transient, and lastly, that the link connecting the jivas with me is divine love. Here, 1 second, this may be some typing mistake. That the relationship that exists between the jivas and me is eternal, and that between fallen souls, maybe it is meant that between fallen souls also eternal relationship is there in relation to Krishna, and the phenomenal world is transient. And no, now I understood, sorry. Relationship that exists between the jivas and me is eternal, and that relationship between fallen souls and the phenomenal world is transient. And lastly, that the link connecting the jivas with me is divine love. So Gurudev gave, you heard during Kartik Brata, when Gajendra is submitting, he decides, I will submit to Supreme Lord, Parameshwar, omnipotent Supreme Lord, because of his past Sukriti. That idea came to his mind. But if someone does not have enough accumulated Sukriti, he cannot submit, even if requested to do so, or in dangerous situation or something. So Gurudev, there are many examples we hear, like Gajendra took shelter, then that pilot Nixon in First World War, when his plane was hit and he was going down, that time he said, oh, if there is any Supreme Lord, kindly please rescue me. He took shelter and he was rescued. And that Mataji, who was attacked by that rickshaw guy, he wanted to kill her and rob her. So she started calling Ha Govinda, Ha Govinda, Ha Govinda. And then that snake came and beat the rickshaw guy. And whole night that snake was surrounding that lady in the pond where she fell down when running. And so many other examples are there when they took shelter of Supreme Lord due to Sukriti. But if there is no Sukriti, then they will not. And Gurudev gave one example, when they were in hostel in college. So one famous astrologer told that tomorrow there will be universal dissolution. Everything will be destroyed, everyone will die. So these students, they thought, now what we should do? So they decided they will go to a restaurant on that day and eat as much as possible, rasgullas and other sweets and all this. And they thought our parents will be very happy that we are intelligent, the money given by them will be properly utilized. So with great enthusiasm, that was their idea. Tomorrow all will die, so what we will do? We should enjoy. So Gurudev said, they were in majority, I was also with them. So like this. But Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard he will have to give up body, then he took shelter of Krishna and like this. So another example Gurudev gave, it is a fact also. In Bangladesh, in Chattagram, where Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu appeared, Parang Gurudev was preaching there. So one family there, they were rich family and father already died, and now mother was also in very critical health situation. So the sons, they invited Parang Gurudev to come there to see her. So when Parang Gurudev came there, he saw that she is very sick, very thin and without any power, and doctor said she will die within 2 or 3 days, it is sure. So he said, I will not give any more medicine because it is of no use. Now only you make her hear Bhagavan's name, the name of Supreme Lord. Doctor said. So when Parang Gurudev was there, he saw in front of him it was happening. The sons, they gathered around her, 3 sons and also other relatives. So one son said, oh Mataji, and very loudly because she could not hear well, Mataji, Hare Krishna bolo. You say Hare Krishna. He told, Hare Krishna bolo. Then she said, I cannot speak so much. Hare Krishna, only 2 words. But she said, I cannot speak so much. Then she said, you call that Jadu Babu here. Again, many words. You call that Jadu Babu. She cannot call Supreme Lord, but she said, you call Jadu Babu. And Jadu Babu was the worst character in that village. He was earning money by sinful means and very bad character. And so sinful that if you see him or you say his name, you will have to take bath in Ganga. So sinful. Everyone knew that. So when one grandson of that old lady heard what is her wish, that to call Jadu Babu, then he became so much disturbed. And he came to her, why you are calling for that? He is so sinful, the worst character in this village. Radhe Govinda bolo. You call Radhe Govinda, not Jadu Babu. Grandson became disturbed. He said, you call Radhe Govinda. No. You call, I cannot speak so much. Again she said, I cannot speak so much. You call Jadu Babu. So because it was her wish on that bed, so the Jadu Babu came. And she grabbed his hand and said, you know, I have this house and some land and property and all this. My sons, they have no any intelligence. They will ruin all these things. Everything will be ruined. So I want you to take all my property and everything. Speaking so much to that Jadu Babu. And then Jadu Babu said, no, Mataji, everyone knows I am the worst person in this village. Your sons, they are very good. They are very intelligent. They will properly take care of your property. You should not worry about this. Don't worry. Hare Krishna bolo. He also said, Jadu Babu. He said, you say Hare Krishna. No, I cannot speak so much. So then ultimately she died without being able to chant. Parang Gurudev was seeing all this. It was happening in front of her. So Gurudev was explaining this point in Gajendra Moksha, where Gajendra is saying that Bhagavan is dushprapyo, means very difficult to attain for those who are attached to non-eternal things and non-eternal relations and all this. At the time of death, whatever you will think, you will attain that. So what attachment you have, that will come to your mind at the time of death also. So we have to practice before. So those who are attached to non-eternal things, for them, Supreme Lord is dushprapyo, very difficult to attain, impossible to attain. Gurudev said, if we don't accept Krishna as our husband, then we'll get non-eternal husband and we'll be frustrated as a punishment. If we don't want to serve Supreme Lord as a son, we'll get non-eternal son, we will be frustrated as a punishment, like this. So only one who will have relation with Krishna and attachment to him, he can remember Krishna and he will think of him and he will go to him, not those who are attached. And like in case someone did not accumulate enough Sukriti and awaken faith in Krishna, then it will be like this, that they will not be able to. Even requested by 3 persons. First doctor said, but she did not hear from doctor, but this was doctor's advice. He said no use of medicine, only Bhagavan Nam. Then son requested, grandson requested, and that person whom she called as like she wants to give everything to him, he also said what she could not and gave excuse. Always there is excuse, I cannot speak so much, but she was speaking so much. Or sometimes we give an excuse, I have no time, or later I will do it, or when I will go to the pension, then I will do it. So many excuses we are giving, but the reality is we don't want to. That is the thing. Actually, we don't want from the heart. That is why we cannot get it. So this is one example. It would be in the first category, that like hedonist or like altruist, we are living in this world without God consciousness. And then Naradamas, and then there are atheists who are moral, and those impersonalists, they will not be able to surrender to Krishna. Then second interpretation of this, the real Pandits versed in transcendental knowledge worship me as the Supreme Lord Bhagavan. But those who pretend to be Pandits are really pedants steeped in ignorance, and are therefore averse to worshipping me. Pedants. I heard this word from Gurudev, like some proud of his scholarship or something like that. Yes. A person who is excessively concerned with minor details and rules, or with displaying academic learning. Yes, this second this meaning I heard from Gurudev. He said that in Mayapur, Srila Vaikanash Gosai Maharaj was speaking Harikatha. So if there were any questions, he could detect whether that person is sincerely asking to improve his devotional practice, his conceptions, all this, in order to improve his devotion, or then he would reply with great care to help him. But sometimes there were some people who were asking questions, but with the view to start some debate with him to ultimately prove or display their own learning better than him. So he could immediately detect this, because pure devotees, they are very sensible. Krishna is in the heart of every living entity, and they have connection there. So they can know, they can understand the person. That is why Gurudev also said there are majority hypocrites in this world. I can give you Harikatha of Gurudev. He said, I warned those people. Outwardly they are behaving very nicely and with like showing they're doing for good and everything, but inside they are hypocrites. They have some other. So I told to one person, you should not trust that person, but he did not believe. No, he's very nice. He's very nice. I know. But ultimately he was cheated like anything. Then Gurudev said, I told you before. And Gurudev in that Harikatha said, now this is increasing in this world. And it is like majority that they are hypocrites. Very difficult. Also from Srila Bodhayan Maharaj, I heard. He said, very difficult nowadays to find someone who will speak the truth. Very difficult. So it is going more and more because Kali Yuga. So we have to be very careful. But pure devotees, immediately they can detect. Like I gave that, many times I said that example. One brahmachari came to Gurudev and was speaking something. Then Gurudev was listening. Then that brahmachari went away. Then he told to God brother, he's lying, Gurudev said. Then that God brother asked Gurudev, how do you know? Gurudev said, like if you have a mirror which is clean, in that mirror everything is seen as it is. So those who have pure heart, clean heart, they can detect these things. So ultimately it was proved that that brahmachari was lying. So like that they can know. So this Vaikanash Gosai Maharaj, Srila Vaikanash Gosai Maharaj, he understood immediately that person's intention, and he did not say even one word to that person. Although he was asking and repeatedly asking, but not one single word came out from him. Like when that Digvijay Pandit came to Rup Sanatan and he said, if you have courage, then you should debate with me on the scripture. I heard your scholars, these Brajavasis, they are saying, I came to you. If you have courage, you debate with me. If you have no courage, then you have to write down signature that you were defeated by me. So immediately they signed. Why? Because they knew this person did not come for devotional amelioration. He came with some other things. So why we will waste our time? So they just signed in order to avoid that misuse. But Jiva Goswami, he understood that ordinary people will not understand why they signed. So he refuted him, not with the view to show his own prowess, but to show that Rupa Sanatan, they are not fools. If their disciple can defeat that person, means that his gurus, whom he is worshipping, they also know. So in order to keep the dignity of gurus and to prevent that people should not commit offense to Rupa Sanatan by thinking in wrong way, Jiva Goswami did, not with wrong motive. Both are correct actions according to circumstance. Both showed that for worldly this name and fame is a waste of time. And Jiva Goswami did for the service of Guru Vaishnava and for the benefit of all jivas, fallen jivas, not for any worldly name and fame. So, real Pandits here, it is stated, they are versed in transcendental knowledge, but those who pretend to be Pandits are really pedants, steeped in ignorance, and are therefore averse to worshipping me. They are pseudo-Pandits, scholars of non-devotional temperament. Men of this type are divided into 4 classes. A. The worldly-minded men who are either hedonistic or altruistic by nature. B. Those who lead moral life in the beginning, but ultimately become atheists on the score of their vanity of high lineage, scholasticism, or wealth. C. Though well versed in scriptural lore, those pedants who, deluded by my Maya, Krishna's Maya, disparage my manifested beautiful human form as mortal. They think like that. It is wrong. This will be later explained in chapter 9. They think I am ordinary human being. And D, those who are demoniac in character and cast aspersions on my transcendental beautiful human form, manifested in the mundane plane, and even pour forth their vials of wrath and vile innuendos against my transcendental amorous pastimes in my blissful realm. I will see this word 1 second. Innuendos. Innuendo. An allusive or oblique remark or hint, typically a suggestive or disparaging one. So, some kind of disparaging. So, demoniac in character, like Kamsa, he wanted to kill Krishna. Hiranyakashipu wanted to kill Krishna. And that Shishupal was criticizing Krishna all the time. So they are demoniac, and they put wrath and vile innuendos against my transcendence. They think what Krishna is doing, that is immoral. Ras Lila and all this, that is immoral. But the point is they are immoral. Because Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Everything is owned by Him. There can be no immorality in Him. But because they are immoral, they are projecting it to Krishna. They are envious of Krishna and they think He's doing something wrong. But He is not doing anything wrong. He is absolute good. But they cannot understand. So they give such remarks against my transcendental amorous pastimes in my blissful realm. He's a debauchee and spoiling all this. They don't understand what is the actual tattva of Raslila. That is why Raslila should not be spoken in public, because they are unable to understand the tattva of Raslila. First, they have to know who is Krishna, who is Radha, who are the gopis. They have to know this in tattva, not only theoretically, but having some understanding, practical understanding of what is seva, what is object of seva, Krishna, all this, then they can understand. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, first one has to attain complete unconditional surrender. Sarvasa tomar charane sampya porechi tomara ghore. Everything is yours, I am yours. And this complete surrender one must first attain by practice under the guidance of surrendered soul. First means one has to accept everything that is favorable for devotion to Krishna, for the service of Krishna. Then reject everything that is unfavorable, all anarthas and all these things, and accept that Krishna is the only maintainer and only protector. Because without Him sanctioning, no one can do anything and no one can give anything or get anything. Krishna is actually giving all power and all things and everything. So He's the only maintainer. If anyone has any false ego, I can maintain myself, or others can maintain me, or I can maintain others, that is false ego. Krishna is the only maintainer and protector. Anyone think independently he can do anything? Impossible. And one has to realize that humbleness means there should be no worldly ego, but realization of real ego. I am eternal servant of Krishna. I am part of His marginal potency, fully His. That is here in Gita we heard. Jiva Bhuta, all Jivas, they are His energy. So this we have to realize. And sixth one is Atmanivedan. You have to offer everything for the service of Krishna. So there are many degrees of this Sharanagati. Someone may be accepted some percentage of what is favorable for devotion. And some percentage he could give up anarthas, and some realization of Krishna is like this. So there is degree. So this is our first project, to practice Sharanagati under the guidance of Sharanagata soul, to come to the point of full surrender, full unconditional surrender. When 100% all this, you accepted, you realized. Accepted, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying, every day with great happiness I am accepting. We are singing during that Ekadashi day. Bhakti Vinod Anukulo Pai Jaha, that Prati Divase Sikar Kore Sukhe Sikar Kore Taha. What all this I find favorable for devotion. So very happily I am doing this every day. And firmly rejecting all these things. Maybe we could reject something, but something we are still keeping, some enjoying spirit and like this. So first we have to come to full Sharanagati, then you can understand what is Lila. Before that, you cannot, especially you cannot understand Braja Lila. Because that looks like human, but it is not. It is more mysterious than Vaikuntha Lila. More mysterious, more deep, more subtle. You cannot understand that, how much they are dedicated for the service of Krishna. There is no enjoyment there. So that is why we see some people, they are very fond of hearing Leelas only. Leelas, but with enjoying spirit. No, I don't want to hear philosophy and this and all that we know. You say some Leelas, but that is with enjoying spirit. But one cannot properly understand what Leela is all about. What is the Leela? Unless one has this experience of Sharanagati. Because those who are participants in the Leelas, they are completely surrendered to Krishna. And they are doing everything for his satisfaction. And Krishna is also satisfying his devotees. He is not exploiting anyone. So one has to realize, have some practical experience of what it means, dedication. Now we only know about exploitation and renunciation. But dedication is something different. That is really you want to serve Krishna for his satisfaction, not for sometimes we are like engaged outwardly in the service of Krishna, but with some motive. I will get this out of it like that. That is not pure, that is not actual devotion. When really it is done for his satisfaction, that is devotion. So Krishna Lila is so high, so deep, so subtle, no one can understand. Vaikuntha Lila is difficult to understand. What to speak of Brajalila? That is why Brajalila should not be spoken in public. People will misunderstand and give such remarks or try to enjoy and like this. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, first complete surrender, then you can think about, you can understand the Lila and you can enter into Lila. You can participate in the Lila through service. Otherwise it is impossible. Then the third interpretation to this verse, and also it is there, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj told, and our Gurudev quoted him, there are some who display like fondness for Leelas, but they are not displaying any fondness, liking for chanting Harinam. So this cannot go together. That is hypocrisy, that is enjoying spirit, because Leela is contained in Harinam. You cannot say, I like Leelas, but I have no liking to chant Harinam. That is impossible. One has to serve Harinam and have that serving attitude. Then one can understand what is Leela all about. But if I have no liking to serve Harinam, then how I can say I have liking for Leela? I have liking to enjoy Leela, to hear Leela, but not to actually the Leela as it is. Third interpretation. Those that have never come in touch with, nor have rendered any services at all to the saints, absolute realized souls, are called dushkritis. If they have no sukriti, that is service to saints, they are doing dushkriti. Dushkritis means evil-minded, ill-fated persons. Evil-minded because averse to Krishna. They may do many pious activities, like in worldly sense, good activities, altruism, all like good, but that is evil-mindedness because it is averse to Krishna. From that standpoint, that is also evil-minded. Anything else than service of Krishna is evil in relation to Jiva's Swarup as the eternal servant of Krishna. Ill-fated, no good luck, because not yet got a chance to do Sukriti knowingly, unknowingly. That is why that verse is there. Kono bhagyavan jeep, some fortunate jivas, means those who gathered Sukriti, they can get the seat of devotion by the grace of Krishna through Guru. So they are naturally anti-devotional in character. They are divided into 4 classes. 1. Those who are out and out worldly minded and are bent on securing physical and mental ameliorations of the world. Only thinking of good of the world. They are also anti-devotional. Outwardly we see they are doing good for the world, but they are anti-devotional, so they are also without Sukriti. Out and out worldly minded and are bent on securing physical and mental amelioration, improvement of this world. That is their target. That is their work. Being quite in the dark about any knowledge of transcendence. Then 2, those intellectual pedants whose philosophy of life is nothing but action without any faith in God. Or if any, it is no better than an ideology fabricated according to their mental mold, some imaginary conception, and for some purpose there. 3. Those who uphold such untenable and unaccountable wrong theories as monism, Buddhism, materialism, atheism, etc., their intelligence having been perverted by my deluding potency Maya. They are also anti-devotional. And lastly, 4, those who are arrogant, insolent, and demoniac by their very nature, and therefore disparage Vishnu, his descendants, and his worshipper, the Vaishnavas. These 4 types of people will not submit to Krishna. Demoniac are those who are against Vishnu and against Vaishnavas, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur also told any cruel activity to any jiva, maybe devotee or non-devotee, but to any jiva, any sentient being, any cruel behavior, that is also aparat, that is also demoniac. So there are people in this world, they like to cheat people, they like to exploit people knowingly, and they are doing these things for their own selfish enjoyment. So that is also displeasing to Bhagavan because of harming other jivas. All jivas are there to Krishna. Like good children, bad children of same mother. Mother loves all. She wants good for all. She's trying to correct that, but she's not hating anyone. She loves. So if you do some harmful activity to any of the child of mother, then mother will not be pleased. That is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur said any cruel behavior towards any living entity, not only devotees, will be considered as offense to Supreme Lord or something which is displeasing him. So tomorrow we will hear about 4 classes of people who are righteous, who will submit to Krishna. These were 4 who will not, no Sukriti, and 4 will. So we heard this Mataji, although she was speaking so much, but could not. And we have so much time, but we say we have no time. We are doing so many things, but no time for service of Krishna. I have no time, but doing so many things. So the thing is about one's status, how much he really wants. And this you cannot artificially also increase. You need sadhu sangha and that awakenment of devotion. Up to that degree, you can engage yourself. You cannot artificially make that happen. Step by step, we can increase. Very good.